Very rapt to be catching up with Robyn Webb, an Australian native, but currently over in the UAE in Abu Dhabi. Currently working at a company called Contango. I've invited her along today because I thought she would have a really interesting view on what's happening in the world of data and AI, having worked all through top end of town in terms of consulting at enterprise and probably at a smaller scale, seen data evolve in so many shapes and forms. And now she's over in the UAE, which I know has just gone all in on AI. So buckle up. I think it's a really interesting episode. First of all, welcome, Robyn, and lovely to have you here.
Yep. Thanks, Dmitry. Yeah, it's great to be here as well.
Yeah, awesome. Well, just for everyone's benefit, would be great if you could just, tell us what you've been up to lately and a little bit of background on your story, if it's all right.
Yeah, okay. So my story is I've been across data and tech for over 30 years. So I saw the advent of the internet and then the dot-com bubble and year 2000 and now AI. And AI really is one of these foundational things which is happening in the business and tech industry. I've always worked in Australia, and I was made redundant from PwC at the end of 2023, and I looked at the Australian market, and I looked at myself, and I thought it's time for an adventure. So I moved to Abu Dhabi, and I've been here 8 months now. I'm working for a company called Contango, and they're like a 3-year-old Big Four consulting company. So they're very agile. We're still very much in startup mode, and we're doing a lot with AI and data and ESG and all sorts of things in Abu Dhabi. There's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot happening as well. It's actually a really exciting place to be.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I mean, if we take a little bit of a step back, because obviously you would have seen, AI at its infancy, right, and how it was coming into play. And I'd love to hear your views on, where you started noticing it coming up more and more, and when you were noticing shifts, because obviously that would have been happening quite a while back. But from your perspective, it'd be good to hear.
Yeah. So I first noticed that the shifts in late 2023 when ChatGPT came into the world, and people started looking at it. And I think all technologies go through this phase of, we look at it and go, oh, wow, this is amazing. And then we get scared and we think this is going to completely transform the world and there'll be no place left for humans, we'll be obsolete. Oh my God, I don't want to deal with that. And then we actually realize what it is and we integrate it into how we live. And we've done exactly the same with AI. So we're still in a huge amount of change with AI, and we're also in a huge amount of what we see with AI. We're still learning about what it can do. I think we still haven't worked out half of what it can do, and we still haven't worked out how to govern it either, because it is a completely different beast.
Yeah. And I guess from 2023 to now, obviously, Australia as a nation has leaned into AI in certain aspects quickly and in a lot of aspects very slowly compared to the rest of the world. What was that shift like coming across and coming into a new region, and what were kind of like the glaring differences that you noticed straight away?
That's actually a really big one, and it's a good one, because what I did notice in Australia, all the time that I've been working there, is that when I go to implement a new technology or a new idea, a new concept, I really have to have the business case absolutely complete and know exactly what the outcome is going to be before anybody even considers implementing it. Whereas over in this region, they are prepared to experiment, to try new things. They're prepared to try and fail and learn from those failures, and then try again and then do the same thing. And that for me is absolutely critical with AI, because I think that's the only way that we're going to learn how to use it and how to use it effectively and get the most out of it. So that is a thing with this region, the GCC, that they are prepared to invest in a lot of other things. It's not just AI, and they're prepared to see what happens and then build on that.
Yeah, and do you think there's a particular reason why there's that culture? Like, is it from a top-down sort of thing? If the government is behind it, if everyone believes and understands the vision, if it's communicated, do you think it's something to do from a government perspective, or is it proximity to the US where a lot of the innovation kicks off in the likes of Silicon Valley and that sort of thing, or what do you think it is?
I think first of all, that the government and the leaders here, they are very, very innovative. They're actually quite amazing with the visions that they have, not just for technology and for government and businesses, but for society overall. They have quite an amazing view. I also think with Australia, I think Australia is very comfortable. And I think Australians have a perspective of how much they can grow and what they can do. And I think sometimes that can be limiting. And I think that stifles a lot of innovation, which Australia can do. There's a lot of amazing talent. There's a lot of amazing things happening in Australia. But getting those to the fore and having those provide a lot of value across Australian businesses, across government and society, it takes a lot longer in Australia than it does over here.
And do you think there's the right level of investment over here? Do you think it has come down into where would you say from your experience leadership teams are at in terms of leading in and really adopting and shifting that mindset in organizations? Do you think, can you see the progress in Australia, or is it still kind of in skepticism stages and as you said, approvals and business cases? I know that kind of does get in the way of progress, right?
Yeah, I can see in Australia that I would like Australian leaders to be more optimistic and to lean into conversations more, and to take more risks and to experiment more and to be more creative. I think that the benefits of that they're really going to see in ways that they don't expect. Yeah, I'm not sure why that is. I think there is a bit of a culture thing. I think because Australia is traditionally very very laid back, it's very relaxed. They have very secure and very guaranteed relationships and business operations. And over here, I think it's not so much a proximity to the US, even though they do have a lot of very strong ties to the US and to other countries as well. I can see that they're much more ambitious here. That they don't know. I'm not sure if they know where they're going. That they sort of know what they want to create, but they're prepared to create and try to see where it gets them.
Yeah. And I mean, going into kind of your sweet spot as well, governance. So, that's a hot topic everywhere, right? Everyone is kind of, bringing in AI at different speeds and shapes and sizes. But in terms of, the guardrails that everyone talks about and the governance, what are you seeing being implemented? What is best practice in your mind? Or, I think a lot of the people that will be listening to this are more in that kind of mid-market scale-up kind of area. What's some advice or you've seen or things to kind of think about, if you're just starting off your journey with AI?
Okay. So with AI, what makes AI work is data and data governance. So the old adage of garbage in, garbage out, it is absolutely true for AI as well as for everything else. And people often think that data governance is boring. and it's something that you have to do. So even in this region, I can see that there's a lot of companies that they just haven't done data governance yet, and that's the first part of their AI journey. For me, data governance is making sure that the right things are done and things are done right. It's also the foundations for all of the value that you're going to get out of AI. So it's actually it's a great place. It's a great place and a great time to be if you're into data governance and AI governance right now. As far as where to go and what to do, so there's a lot happening with AI governance. The challenge with AI governance for me is that we really don't understand AI yet. We really don't know what we're dealing with, and we're still learning about that. And like I'm doing learning all the time about what is AI and what can it do and what are agents and how do they work and how do they don't work. And this is going to this journey of learning what it does and guardrails and how to manage it and how to ensure its integrity is going to be ongoing. And I'm not sure if we're ever going to end with it. So the way that I'm dealing with AI governance is to treat it as almost an innovation strategy. It's like that the AI governance that we're developing is assuming that it's going to change. It's like we need this sort of governance, but we don't know how to do it yet. We need to manage its ethics and its bias, but we don't know how to do that yet. But just having that in place and having that in an AI governance strategy means that we review it, and we review what we know, and we review what we can do and what we're seeing, so we can change the way that we govern it on an ongoing basis. So normal data governance policies that we're writing now, they're going to be reviewed every year, and then they're going to be reviewed every couple of years. It's very easy to get them right. Because it's based on normal systems. Normal systems are very predictable, that what you put in, you know what you're going to get out. And if you don't get out the right thing, you know where in the system to fix it so that you get the right output. It's pretty simple. But AI is a totally different beast. AI is based on prediction, and also it keeps changing itself, so that, so the algorithm is but it's based on the training data and also the data which you keep putting into it. So how you govern something like that, it needs a totally different mindset, and we don't have that mindset yet. We've got to develop it as we go on, as we learn what it is and how it's working. I'm not sure if that.
And no, that's a great answer. And what I really liked is like where you flipped it into more of an innovation mindset rather than more of a problematic one, because I think that's the more entrepreneurial way of attacking things, and because the adoption is so fast as well, you kind of just have to keep up with it, right? So okay. Now in your role, I know that you touched on it just now, but are there any kind of major challenges that have started presenting themselves that you weren't expecting off the back of this movement, in your role, whether it was in Australia or over in the UAE? Are there new parts to your role that have just evolved that you weren't expecting?
The things which are happening here, they're happening in a slightly different way to what I would expect. Because everybody here that wants to use AI, and there's a massive government and massive strategic push in the whole country to use AI. But just saying use AI, that isn't enough. It's about how do we get value and how can we benefit the business from using AI. So the way that we're doing it is with use cases. So we have at the boundary, we have a business problem, and we find innovative ways to try to solve that problem. It could involve AI, it could involve analytics, it could be looking at the data, looking at where we can get data from different places. It could involve business process re-engineering, but just looking at it from a business problem perspective and see what tool is going to serve that. And so I didn't quite expect that. I didn't expect that the massive push to use AI, but it makes a lot of sense. because that is probably the best way that we're going to be using data and getting insights from data in the future.
Yeah, I mean, the part of me wonders with people that have got a career in data, that they must be kind of like kids in a candy shop type of thing, with all this happening to a degree, but also frightened at the same time. Is there a bit of that going on?
There's a lot of excitement, and there's a lot of oh, thank goodness, everybody's starting to realise that the value of data and data governance, and what we've been trying to push for the past 10 years, 20 years. So data governance has finally come to the fore. So in that sense, it is a really exciting time. And also people are really, even without implementing AI, companies are really seeing the benefit of just having data governance, which is always a great thing. They're seeing it in more efficient operations. They're seeing it in visibility to the business. They're seeing it in how they can see what their cost basis is for running parts of their operations. They're looking at the business functions, and they're saying, oh my goodness, why do we have 10 people running around with pieces of paper when we could have a barcode reader at the start of a warehouse? So they're asking these sorts of questions. So even if AI doesn't come to anything, which is not going to happen, there's going to be a lot of change. But even taking that to one side, there's a lot of benefit which is coming out of just standing up data governance.
Yeah, and also I think as well, I've had a lot of discussions this week in particular where people, you can tell people are speaking about it in their leadership teams, but they haven't really known how to make the first move. And I've kind of gone down the path of saying, look, what is a problem you guys always speak about that you haven't been able to solve previously, or if you've had limitations or technical limitations? Tell me about that. Let me try and solve that. And I think there's just the technology alone and some of the tools that are out there at the moment, you literally can approach things with significantly more speed and firepower than you ever have been able to. So I think that's really exciting. There's just some of the business problems that are getting solved now. It's exciting to come across them and try to tackle them. So hence, I'm really loving what I'm doing at the moment. Yeah,
that's a great way to look at it, Dmitry. So I find that there's two ways that people are looking at AI. One is, oh my God, what are the opportunities? What are the things that we can solve? What can we do with our business? So that's a really positive way of looking at AI. And I find that other people are saying, oh my God, if we don't use AI, then we're going to lose. We're going to be left in the dust. And I always like the more positive way. I find that if people say, well, we've got to do AI because everybody else does, they're not looking for the opportunities. And for implementing AI now, it does have to be for a particular problem or a situation or an opportunity. You do have to pick something and then go for it and see what you can do with it. And that's how we're getting benefit in this part of the world as well. There's a lot of business there's either business problems, and there's a lot of opportunities which people are looking at now. It's like, how do we make our salespeople more efficient? And that's a big complex problem, and there could be 1,000 ways of doing it. And solving that putting that as an AI opportunity is one which we're seeing. There's a lot of solutions which can come out of that, and a lot of benefit as well. And not all of them. Not all of them provide benefit, but if you don't do all of them, then you don't find the ones which do.
Totally agree. Now, in terms of breakthroughs, for you, is there anything that really changed the game for you in terms of tools or technologies? I know Databricks and Snowflake have been around for a while, but they are buzzing. Everyone seems to really be gravitating towards those, and there's not enough people to implement all those sort of solutions. But what's really been a game changer for you, you've seen or used, or something that really kind of gave you a bit of a dopamine hit when you played around with it?
Oh, gee. I can't pinpoint just one. the capabilities that you mentioned, companies like Snowflake and Databricks, what they're coming out with now is just amazing. And seeing other companies like even like the Oracle and Microsoft and SAP having AI on the side and then integrating it into their systems. I'm not sure how well those are doing yet, but the investment that major investors are putting into AI and having it to so that their users and their customers can become more productive, it's actually quite amazing.
Yeah. And something I heard yesterday when I was catching up with someone in the data space, they were saying that right now it feels like when COVID just kicked off and everyone really leant into Salesforce, and there was just this vacuum of Salesforce people to implement Salesforce everywhere. I feel like that we're now almost in a similar stage, particularly in Australia and New Zealand, where Databricks and Snowflake is kind of having that same effect right now. So I think that they're kind of like two of the main players that everyone's really gravitating towards, and some of the capability that can give organizations is out of this world.
But we are seeing resource shortages for different skills as well. And what I'm seeing is that it's creating a great opportunity for especially small to medium businesses who provide those skills. There's the ones that provide value and the ones that are developing those skills and providing them. There's a massive opportunity for them.
And from your experience so far, I mean, have you had much to do with AI agents, or have you played around or been exposed to any of that yet? And how do you feel about that whole movement?
That is quite a movement as well. I've had some exposure to AI agents, and there's even advice from Gartner saying treat these as part of your team. AI agents are going to be part of your team, and they need a code of conduct, and they need ethics, and they need everything else. So what you would provide for a person, plus the governance that you need for AI, and that's going to be an AI agent. So there's quite a few test cases and quite a few use cases for AI agents which are getting traction in this area. There's research companies here that are focusing on AI agents and delivering those solutions. It's still in the very early stages. They're having success at the moment. They're solving some really good business problems, and I think we're just going to have to wait and see, and do what we're doing with other forms of AI is just experiment and see what we learn and see what value we can get out of it, and not assume that because the text says so that it's right.
Yeah, we've been playing around with technology and now implementing for a number of companies here in Australia, and we naturally kind of evolved to our model and way of implementing things, and more recently we implemented the IBM framework around sort of like implementing agent solutions, and it touches on the point that you just mentioned around the standing operating procedures. So I think you always gravitate towards the problem first. Don't throw the technology to solve the problem. Understand the problem, then detail the use case. And there's a really important part there. We have to actually document the SOP, because there's a bit of digital transformation in a micro kind of way, and you're really kind of changing how the business works and the speed it works at as well. So that SOP part is something that's really important for us, and we do with all of our agents that we're bringing in as well. So that's a good one. Okay, cool. And looking ahead, where do you see things going? There's I don't know if you've read the 2027 AI report yet. That's an interesting read. Quite bleak, but it is quite an aggressive forecast of where things are going. But there's also so much on the horizon to be excited about. So where do you see things going? What are you excited about?
I'm excited about how we're really going to get value out of AI and how we make it predictable. because to use it in business and for business decisions, and so we can count on it, it needs to be reliable, it needs to be repeatable. And that is part of what we try to implement with AI governance. And that's really, when we get to having it being repeatable and being trustworthy, that means that we can use it across business and get some real value out of it. So I'm really excited about that, and understanding how we can manage it. With the wave, with the introduction and the implementation of AI, we're coming out of the, oh my God, it's going to change everything and I'm going to lose my job. And we're coming, I think we're starting in the phase of really consolidating and understanding what our role is and what AI's role is going to be. And that's going to be quite a lot of evolution. So I'm really excited about that. The other thing I'm really excited about isn't about the tech at all. So what I find with technology is that the technology does things which we can do, but at the same time, it highlights something which is very unique about humanity, which we often forget. So I'm really, really excited about that. So when we first started thinking that AI was going to take our jobs, it was all about repeatable jobs. It was about what we knew. It was like we're going to have all the knowledge of the whole world. We're going to have it at our fingertips, but that's sort of true, but it's sort of not. And the other thing which adds to that is that AI can never be creative. It can never innovate, and it can never make choice. It is like AI is a predictive.
Speaking of which, AI has just absolutely done something on me.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Right. AI is all about prediction. So what you get out of it is basically what somebody has already done or what somebody already knows. And I don't know about your life, Dmitry, but my life has not been predictable at all. And actually, the most amazing parts of my life have been the bits which have been totally unpredictable, and the parts where if you said to me a year before, Robyn, you're going to be doing this, and I'd say, no, you've got the wrong person. It's those moments, and it's those choices. And AI can never do that. AI can never predict those. And that for me is the amazing part of a human being. And so, so one thing I'm really excited and I'm really hopeful for with AI is that it makes humans more creative and innovative, and enables us to take more risks and to think outside of boxes and think outside of what we already know.
Yeah, that is a very nice and positive spin for people, and I reckon it's a really good way to take things forward as well. So, you know, on a parting note, I mean, advice for leaders, people that probably haven't got on board or leaned in yet. What would be your advice to business owners and executives right now that are sniffing around the nest, trying to figure out where to start?
Where to start? As you were saying before, Dmitry, I'd find a business problem or a business opportunity, and it is one of these things of, you know, how do we deal with this situation? Or I want to create this sort of product. How do I do it? And have that as a use case, and play with it with AI and see what it can do. Is really like get in there, get your toe in the water, and then see what happens. And it could be that something great comes out of it straight away. It could be that you realise that, oh, my data needs to be configured in this sort of way, or I need to clean up this, or you might find something very, very quick, like, I didn't realise my warehouse wasn't connected to my sales system. What happens when we do that? So use AI to look at a business problem or a business opportunity, and take those steps. The worst thing that's going to happen is that you'll realise, oh, AI is not suited to that situation or to that problem. The best thing that could come out of it is that you find an amazing way to transform your business and transform the services that you provide. Yeah,
lovely. Well, I think that that pretty much does us. Well, thank you so much. I think this is going to be super valuable to a number of people. I can't wait to get some feedback on this one as well. And it means a lot. And yeah, look, I've been following from afar. I'm super curious as to the things that you're going to do over there. And I'm actually due to head over to the Middle East fairly soon. So I'll be definitely getting in touch for a coffee when I'm over there. But yeah, keep up the good stuff. And thank you so much for your time today.
Yep. And thank you too, Dmitry. It's been a pleasure.